Okay, so we're going to start in the usual way. Start with our warm-up set. It only takes about 15 minutes, and then we'll move on to our standing meditation set and see where that takes us. Okay, so standing with the feet shoulder width apart, a nice generous wide stance, with the knees slightly bent. The tailbone just tipped a tiny bit forward towards the front of the body. Spine is nice and upright. Chin gently drawn back in. Turning from the very core of the body. Allowing the arms just to hang loose. We can make a gentle turn just to see how the back feels this morning. Slowly opening up the spine with these gentle turns. And then releasing and moving into the wider exercise. Just as a reminder, shoulders always relaxed downwards. Elbows softly relaxed. Wrists soft. Fingers open. Palms gently tapping onto the side of the body. Just feeling the forearm tap gently onto the belly button. Feeling the back of the wrist tap gently onto the small of the back. Oh, it's getting a beating here. Everybody's supposed to be happy in Qigong, even the plants. I'll try not to knock that one over. I had thought that this would be the third week of our working with the sacred sounds, but now I'm not so sure. Lots of conversations have come up recently, me with people I've been chatting to about Hawaiian healing idea called Ho'oponopono. And Ho'oponopono is a very simple tool. It's just been coming up all week for me, so maybe we might just use a little bit of Ho'oponopono in our healing today. The background history of it is that there was a psychiatrist in Hawaii called Dr. Liu. And Dr. Liu came from a family of shamanic healers who had their own sort of healing modalities in Hawaii. There's Lomi massage. There's I forgot the other form as well. There's various different sort of forms that are used in Hawaii for healing. And this was one of them. It's called Ho'oponopono. And essentially the story goes that Dr. Liu, in his psychiatric journey, ended up in the fiercest prison, working, I should say, not as an inmate, working in the fiercest prison in perhaps Honolulu, I can't quite remember, in the capital, in one of the capital cities. And that there was a ward where the inmates had taken over the ward. It wasn't really possible for the warders to go in there anymore. It was too dangerous for them. They just sort of pushed food under the door, and the inmates just kind of fought about, looked after themselves. It was kind of jungle law, I think, inside. And so Dr. Lou realized that it wasn't going to be possible for him to go and work with each one of these patients on a psychological level. Um, and so he decided that what he would do would be to use Ho'oponopono, a prayer for each of these individuals. And so he started with the ringleaders, I suppose, the most difficult people, and he would take back their file each night and sit with their photograph and work through this prayer. And within a week or two, the whole atmosphere started to change in the ward. Suddenly they were asking for help. Suddenly they were allowing people to be admitted back into the ward. And suddenly everybody was able to work with them again to bring peace. And he was actually able to go and work with them on a one-to-one basis. Nothing else had changed. The only thing that had changed was for months they'd been like that. And then he had used his Ho'oponopono and everything had shifted. So we work on the principle that it's impossible for you to change anybody else. As much as we'd like to think we can, we get married and we think, we'll turn our partner into someone else. Even if we don't think it consciously, subconsciously, we hope that we'll mold our partner to be different, better, worse, whatever it might be. And so the idea is that there's only one person in this whole universe who you have control over, and that is yourself. The only thing you can change is yourself. You have to change your relationship to situations. So this is where we find ourselves. We find ourselves with our baggage from the past sitting on our shoulders, wishing that we had said something to our father before he died, wishing we'd said something to our mother, that would have changed everything, wishing that we had changed the way we interacted with our brothers and our sisters, wishing that we'd whatever, there's an awful lot of history that's stuck in our lives. And very often those people have passed on or are no longer speaking to you or whatever the case. So a case in point was one of my lovely students. She came to me for a one-to-one session. And she said to me, my biggest problem is my son. We had an argument about a year and a half ago, and we haven't been able to speak to each other since. I tried to phone him and I tried to email him, but he won't pick up the phone. He won't speak to me. And so I just gave up. And that was about 6 months ago, and we've had no contact since. And she said, it's causing me an awful lot of pain. I said, okay, well, you can't change your son. What is done is done there. What you have to do is just change your relationship to your son, your relationship to the situation that is formed in between the two of you. And so she said, all right, well, I'll try Ho'oponopono. And she went home that afternoon and she said, I spent the whole afternoon doing Ho'oponopono with my son. I photographed my son, actually, she said. So I sat there with him in front of me and I ran through the words of the prayer. And, that was the best I could do. And then she said, at 6 o'clock, he called me up for the first time after 18 months. She said, I just cried and cried. And so she changed her own personal relationship to the situation between the two of them. And it instantly shifted that relationship. It instantly changed the way the son felt, because somehow whatever it was that she had been propping up, whatever she'd been holding, she let go of. And when that went, the whole dam broke and they were able to start talking again. So that for me is a perfect example of instant karma. It really is a very powerful tool. Shift something inside of you and everything around you can change. Very often subconsciously, we are holding a situation in place without even realizing that we're holding that situation in place. So today we'll find a way to work through Ho'oponopono. I was interested in a book I was reading recently. Let's just move on to the second part of this exercise while I carry on talking. Slow down and open up. Make it longer. Use your neck. So we often hear, and in fact, Dr. Liu has also done a very nice meditation on YouTube, which is called Working with your inner child and Ho'oponopono. And so I'm basing what we're thinking about today on that. But in another book I was reading recently, the guy said we have to do all of this inner child work, the sorrow and sadness, that surrounds our childhood, because it tends to be that within a child work, it tends to have been something that was done to you by somebody else, or something you perceive was done to you by somebody else. As a small child, we tend to be quite helpless and without defense. And so we have this whole idea of inner child work as a kind of psychological tool, and it's an exceptionally powerful one. But then he went on to say, sad inner child, angry inner teenager. And I thought about that and I thought, wow, that's a great observation. I really like that. And it's not one that I'd personally come across before in psychology. But he said, the next phase is a teenager who again feels quite powerless, but now has the power to be angry about everything. And I think we can all identify with angry teenagers. I'm sure we've all been one at some stage. And so I think that's another thing to look at as well, is to think about things from our teenage life where we felt powerless and were just cross about it. And from our childhood, felt sad and were unable to do anything, and powerless, were able to do anything about it. Let's see how that develops today. I haven't quite thought of how this class will be, but it just seems to have presented itself. And my classes they do have what I would very, very loosely call a teaching plan, which may not be discernible from the outside, but they very loosely have a teaching plan. But from time to time, it's almost channeled ideas arrive, and I just have to bring them up, and that's it. I don't have any other opportunity except to go in a completely different direction to the one that I was intending to follow. And so that's where we're taking a small diversion today to have a little look at Ho'oponopono. Okay, let's let this whole thing slow gently down, bit by bit, slowly, slowly. Let's let that all come to a stop. Let's gather some chi. So that can make you feel quite dizzy. But if you lift the chi up above your head and then pour it and guide it down through your body, you can bring about a bit of stability. So we just move it out of our heads and gently draw it down into our chests. And then we bring that down into the belly. And we focus on the belly just for a moment and then release the hands and the chi flows down. So everything is being gathered, lifted, and then is being brought down into the belly. Focusing everything to the core of you, and then releasing and relaxing. And the hands flow. Gather, lift up. Pour chi down. Good. Let's do some simple forward and back bends just to extend our spines. Lift the hands up into the blue sky. And then tip over head, arms, ears, upper back, middle back, lower back. Body relaxes and hangs. Okay. Just hang down here. Tuck your tummy in. Release the back of your neck. Let the body softly hang here for a moment or two. We're going to imagine the foot split into 4 pieces, gently stretching down towards the toes. And then release. Imagining a line drawn between the roots of our toes, stretching towards that. And release. Imagining a line drawn between our insteps, stretching towards that. And release. Imagine a line drawn between our heels, stretching towards that. Great. Body hangs and relaxes. Gently lift the tailbone up behind. Push the tailbone towards the front of the body. Slowly roll the spine up and bring up the head and the arms and the ears. Gently stretching up into the blue sky, stretch up, stretch up. And then we softly release our knees and our hips forward, and we gently drift back, up, and gently back, up, lean back, up, lean back. Okay, hands up into the blue sky. So try and coordinate the arms and the ears. You don't press them together, you just coordinate as they tip over, bending the nape of your neck. Then the upper back bends, then the middle back bends, then the lower back bends. We slowly relax our way down, sinking and settling. Soft knees. Okay, extending gently to your toes, and then releasing, in line with the roots of your toes, and releasing, in line with your insteps, gradually deeper each bend, and releasing, back toward the heels. Relaxing, releasing, body hangs. Lift the tailbone up behind, push the tailbone towards the front, roll the spine up and bring up the head and the arms and the ears as one piece. Stretching up into the blue sky, stretch up, stretch up. Knees and hips drift forward. You can lean back, up, and gently back, up, and gently back, up, and gently back. Hands up into the blue sky. Right, keep the legs straight. Tipping over arms and ears, we keep the legs as straight as we can. We roll into the upper back, we roll into the middle back, we roll into the lower back. Let the body hang down. Back of the neck is soft and relaxed. Legs are nice and straight. We can shift the weight a tiny bit forward to our toes. Just feel the hamstrings stretching out a little bit. Great, extending towards the toes. Release. In line with the roots of the toes. And release. In line with the insteps. And release. In line with the heels. Great. Body relaxes, body releases. Gently lift the tailbone up behind. Push the tailbone to the front of the body and start to roll the spine up. Bring up the head and the arms and the ears and gently draw up. Stretch up into the blue sky. Let the knees and hips drift forward. You can lean back, up, and gently back, up, back, up, and back. Great. Hands up in the blue sky. Last time for this exercise. Arms and ears go over, legs stay straight. Roll down. Back of the neck is relaxed. Let the body hang down, sink gently. Okay, great. So we just let the body hang and relax. We softly sink towards our toes and release. In line with the roots of our toes. Release. Head towards the insteps. Release. Back toward the heels. Let the body hang and relax. Tailbone lifts up behind. Tailbone pushes towards the front of the body. Spine gently rolls up, and then the head and the arms, the ears come up with. Whole thing stretches up into the blue sky. Stretch up, stretch up. Drifting knees and hips forward. You can gently lean back. Up. Softly back. Up. Back. Stretch up. And back. Hands up into the blue sky. Hands drift down the side of the body, gently drifting the hands down, relaxing the hands down. Gather chi, so hands go in the earth, lift chi up. Pour chi, pour the chi down through your body. Torrent of chi pouring down through the body, gathering this energy, drawing it deep into the core of your body, sinking, settling, relaxing, releasing. Everything goes deep into the belly. And then when the hands release, the chi flows down the outside of the body, back into the earth. Okay, let's gather. Lift up and pull, drawing chi down, focusing to the core. Let the chi run down through the core of your legs, all the way back, down through the soles of your feet and deep into the earth, like roots deep into the earth. Gather, lift up, and pull. Okay, so we're just going to do some side bends to finish off our exercise set. Lifting the right hand up into the air. Breathe in. As we breathe out, let's tip over to the left. Gentle breath in. And stretch. Gentle breath in. Stretch. Breathing in. Stretch. Breathing in. And stretch. Breathe in, lift your right hand up. Switch over. Breathe in, stretch up. Tip over to the right hand side. Breath in and stretch. Breathe in and stretch. Gentle breath and stretch. Breathe in and stretch. In breath brings up left hand. Bring up the right hand as you breathe out. Breathe in, stretch up your right hand. Let's tip over to the left. Breathe in. Stretch. And stretch. Breathe in. Stretch. Breathe in. And stretch. Breathe in, take your right hand up. Exhale, swap the hands over. Breathe in, stretch up. Exhale out to the right. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. 3. Exhale. And 4. Exhale. Breathe in, lift both hands up in the air. And when you breathe out, we can draw the hands down the sides. Good, let's gather chi. Lift chi up. Pour chi down. Draw the chi down through the body. Move the chi deep to the belly. Settling, sinking, and relaxing. Gather. Draw chi down. Connect deep into your belly. All the energy gathering there, deep inside you. And then when the hands relax, the chi just cascades through the legs back into the earth. Lift again. Pour. Let's just gather one last time. Bring our hands to our bellies. Relax and gather. Draw the chi deep inside your body. Let the hands settle onto the belly. Take up a sustainable stance. You can sit if you wish, but wish to stand, that's good. Good way to gather chi. Knees are soft, back straight. Tailbone gently tucking forwards. Chin gently drawing back towards the spine. Wei Lu, the tailbone, sits down as if sitting on a chi chair. Bai Hui on top of the head pushes up, elongating the spine. Often when we push Bai Hui up, we compromise our knees. So we try and keep Bai Hui lifted and just remind ourselves to soften the knees one more time. With these bent knees, the weight is on the front of the foot. The chi is flowing through Yongquan. Comes through Yongquan, which is in the front sort of third of the ball of the foot. Chi flowing up, gathering up in your foot, center of your ankles, center of your calves, center of your knees, center of your thighs. Comes to Hoi Yin between your legs. Lift Hoi Yin up, and the chi travels up to lower Dantian. So Hoi Yin sits between the legs. We just gently feel a kind of lifting in the perineum area. That draws chi upwards to the belly. Just keep Hoi Yin lifted. Do it once, but just imagine that it stays there. Bai Hui on top of the head. So if you were to draw a line straight up the front of the ears and then move 3 fingers forwards, you'd pretty much be sitting on the crown point, Bai Hui. I find the fontanelle has actually got 2 points, the front and the back of a seam. The fontanelle on babies, there's 1 point that's very prominent, but there are actually 2 points on babies that are fontanelles. This is one of them, Bai Hui. We gently push this crown point up to the blue sky. In so doing, it softly opens Bai Hui. And then the chi flows down. Chi from the blue sky above, pouring down through Bai Hui to the center of your head. Well, in the center of your head's the pineal, the pituitary. We can just imagine stimulating these glands. The endocrine system, pituitary, pineal, thyroid and parathyroid, thymus. Thymus is kind of behind your breastbone. Thyroid's around your throat. Pineal, the center of the head. Adrenal glands on top of your kidneys. The sexual organs, testes and ovaries. All part of this incredible system. The chemical messengers through the body. So we think about this beautiful system emanating from the pineal pituitary, spreading through the body. Just bring harmony and balance. Send love and light to each of these little locations, center of the brain, your throat, just behind the breastbone, on top of the kidneys, the sexual organs. Balance, everything working well. And of course, the brain is where these orders emanate, electromagnetic pulses, I think, waves from the brain, start the chemical cascade in your body. So we think about our meaty brain for a moment, all these crenellations. They say if you flatten your brain out, it's, sort of 50 times the size or whatever. I don't know what the figures are, but it's this extraordinary sort of bumpy, curvy thing that can keep so much information. Sometimes so much difficult information. So we'll attempt to work with that in a moment, but let's think about the functionality of it. Think about your brain, all the neurons, all the synapses, all the way through your brain, all these kind of like connections that are firing away. It's an incredibly complex process. Just think about the meat of your brain, all of the cells working well, all of the functions, perfect working order. Think of the brain. The two halves join at the medulla oblongata. It's two halves of your brain. I've got this kind of bridge that sits between the two of them. This is the top of the spine going down. So we think about the marrow in the spine. We think about the marrow in the brain, brain marrow, spine marrow. There's also marrow in all of our bones as well. So we can think about this aspect of our bodies. Inside a bone, there's this marrow, which is kind of the nursery for making red and white blood cells. So not only do we have the brain working with all these kind of chemical messengers that go through the body, making processes happen, start and stop, but we also have this kind of marrow aspect of the brain, of the spine, of the bones, which is where so much of the kind of building blocks of our lives come from, but also the immune system, but also emanating from the brain, the nervous system. So you have these three systems of incredible importance. Imagine your nervous system, this fantastic network of wiring, let's say, everywhere throughout the brain, all of the sensory organs, heading off down the spine, branching out along your arms to each fingertip, heading down your spine, branching out to each of the organs in your body. All over the place, we have nerves connecting everything. Nerves flowing down the spine, down your legs, to your feet, to your toes. This wonderful nervous network throughout the entire body, emanating from the brain. The marrow system, nourished by the brain. The endocrine system, balanced by the brain. Gosh, what a lot the brain has to do. So when we're drawing this chi down from the blue sky, we imagine filling our brain with chi. When we say all functions working well, goodness, there are so many functions. Even the sensory organs as well. Think about our sight and our smell, our taste and our hearing. All of the kind of, sixth senses, if you like. All of that controlled by our brain. So let's just imagine the brain glowing, working well. Imagine the endocrine system working well. Imagine your nervous system penetrates throughout the whole body, working well. Imagine your marrow system working well. The qi from upper dantian can flow down into middle dantian. Imagine illuminating deep in the center of your chest a ball of energy. So the same in the center of your brain. Illuminate your brain with qi, and then allow this qi to come down the center line deep in the center of your chest. Illuminate that with qi too. So this directly affects the functioning of our organs. The organs draw their energy from this middle dantian, this middle energy field. Well, I mean, that might sound odd to a Western ear, because to a Western ear, the energy you draw is from the blood and the oxygen and the nutrients, and that's the blood system. And obviously that emanates from our heart. So on a functional level, we can think of the heart as being the sort of the pump that works our blood system. And we think about the wonderful capillaries that run all the way through our body, the aortas around our heart, the nerves, and sorry, not the nerves, got a bit lost there, all of the channels that supply blood around our bodies. But also think about the liver as well, because the liver and the spleen are about making blood cells as well and clarifying the blood and about supporting the immune system. So this central energy deep inside is kind of supplying extra chi to the heart, liver, and liver spleen. So you have the whole sort of blood system supported by that. We think about the central energy field giving chi to our lungs. Well, the lungs cleanse your blood as well. So there's that whole part of blood system involved there. But we're also talking about getting all this wonderful oxygen and chi into our bodies through this breath. So think about your lungs in tip-top condition, able to gather chi from the atmosphere around you in through your nose and deep into your lungs. Think about your lungs functioning really well. We think about the pancreas, and it's partnered with the stomach. So that's the whole digestive system from top to bottom. We know how long the alimentary canal is and how twisty and turny it is. And think about our stomach with all of this acid and the peristalsis that squeezes the gut. And the pancreas's idea is that it gathers chi from your food. So it's absolutely vital. 50% of the chi comes in through your breath. 50% comes in through your food. So a pancreas functioning well is gathering huge amounts of chi into our body, taking the nutrients out and distributing them, but taking the nourishment of chi out and distributing that too. Stomach and pancreas, perfect balance. Whole of the digestive system working well. Whole of the blood system working well. And eventually we come around to our kidneys. The kidneys, well, they are about the urinary system quite clearly. Interesting enough, they're also about the sexual system as well. So when the kidneys are strong, sex drive is strong. When the kidneys are strong, or all the urinary functions are strong. And as we notice with old age, very often old people get kidney infections, urinary tract infections, things like that. And that's about the kidneys kind of winding down. And unfortunately, the kidneys are kind of like the hourglass of our life. So in Qigong, we constantly fill lower dantian with energy. We constantly concentrate on Mingmen gate round the back, the Du Qi round the front, the lower dantian, because of the proximity that they have to the kidneys. And the more you gather energy in the central core of your body, the stronger it's going to be for the kidneys. But also middle dantian, it has dedicated energy for the kidneys. So we're drawing all this energy into the center of the chest, and it radiates out into the kidneys, helping the urinary system, sexual system. And again, that's part of the balance of the hormone as well. So we have these 5 organs. So we've been working with the 5 organs in the 5 organ sounds, vibrating our hearts, vibrating our pancreas, vibrating our lungs, our kidneys, and our liver spleen. And so now we have this central field that supplies energy deep into those organs. And each of those organs, when they're strong, it means they support the whole function of the body. The energy from upper dantian, making the brain work and all of those systems, pouring down into the middle dantian, making all the organ systems work, and eventually pouring down into the belly, lower dantian. So we have the qi tracking up from the earth, coming up through Huoyan into lower dantian, from the heavens, pouring down deep into lower dantian. But don't forget the arms as well. Lao Gung on your hand. It's right in the center of your hand. So when you have one palm on top of the other palm, you've lined up these Lao Gung points. When you have the Lao Gung points lined up and they're sitting on your belly button, they're perfectly in alignment with Du Qi, the belly button, perfectly in alignment with lower dantian, the energy field, perfectly in alignment with the Mingmen gate on the back. So think about that axis through the center of your body. If you take the belly button and think about where we extend it straight through to the small of the back, that's the place called the Mingmen Gate, the gate of destiny, the gate of life. It's an extraordinary, powerful point on the small of our back. We gently tip our tailbones forwards, and that straightens out the lower back, and that opens up Mingmen. Mingmen open, qi and blood flowing well. This extraordinary, powerful gateway. We have lots of these gateways. Bai Hui on the head is a gateway. Hoi Yin between the legs, a gateway. Yong Quan on the feet, a gateway. Lao Gung on the hands is a gateway. There are others as well we use in Lift You Up and Po Chi Down. But one of the most potent gateways is the Mingmen Gate. Mingmen on the small of your back. Just think about the base of each kidney. Just going up a few inches left and right, you find the bottom of the kidneys. And then Mingmen, like a downward pointing triangle, the base of the kidneys down to Mingmen. This whole area on the small of your back. And inside, a very potent part of the body. So imagine kidneys working well, blood and qi flowing well. The kidneys being fed from this energy, Mingmen, lower dantian. You can make almost like a pyramid that runs. Can you make a pyramid? It's not really a pyramid. It's like a 0.3, like a triangle. Yeah, don't worry. I've lost my geometry there. I can't explain it to you. But connecting lower dantian, Mingmen, in the base of the kidneys. Okay, so just feeling the energy of lower dantian. Hands are on lower dantian, blood and qi flowing well in the body. So we have all of these systems inside the body. We've got Lao Gung on our hands, and we're now thinking about the energy from the palms of the hands through the center of the wrists, center of the arms, center of the elbows, center of the upper arms. They come all the way up to the shoulders. It's called Jianjing. On top of your shoulders, Jianjing gathers qi from the arms, pours qi down into middle dantian, where it can supply qi to all the organs, and then pours qi down into lower dantian. So we have qi gathering from all of these directions. When we do our standing qigong, sometimes we can release our hands open and just hold a ball of qi. Sometimes that can be comfortable and fine, and you can hold the ball quite happily. Sometimes it doesn't feel quite right, and it's better to bring a little ball back onto your tummy, like a sort of small cage sitting over the belly button. There's no right and no wrong. If you feel you want to try holding something about the size of a football in front of your belly, that's fine. Sometimes you find your hands float a bit higher. Whatever suits you. And often it's interesting just to try holding your hands in an unnatural posture for you, like lifting your hands up and putting them in front of middle dantian. Very soon your body will tell you if you can support it, because you'll start to find your hands are drooping down a bit, your head's drooping down a bit, your knees are, or your back becomes sore. There are all sorts of signs that perhaps your body's not quite ready to support that. And sometimes you just have to accept that your hands should just be planted on the belly button. Perhaps you should just hold this little ball of qi over the belly button. Whatever works. But it's best not to pretend. It's best to see what your body will naturally support. See what it feels happiest with. Blood and qi flowing well through the body. The body in perfect wellness. Blood and qi flowing well through the body. Qi flows up the legs to lower dantian, from the head down to lower dantian, from the hands to the shoulders, down to lower dantian, focusing the mind in lower dantian. With our knees bent, tailbone sat, spine long, The body is perfectly open. Perfectly open. Blood and chi flowing well. All of the systems working well. All of the functions of your body. Perfect working order. So in order to work with our subconscious, we have to allow the consciousness to move out of the way. It's difficult to get deep down into thoughts when the logical mind jumps in and is constantly answering questions. So the first principle behind healing is to find a posture that allows you to gather lots of chi into your body. So we stand, and this is a 3 centers merge style posture. When we stand like this, chi is flowing well. The body is filling with energy. So we've met the first primary concern, which is a body without enough chi can't work well. So now we start to gather chi. Fantastic. And that might be enough just to bring about healing in certain things. But we also have this idea that the mind is incredibly powerful. 95% of all of our problems emanate from our mind. I was just turning this conundrum over the other day. 95% of our problems? 100% of our problems? I was driving through Scotland. I saw a signpost to strontium. Strontium's an odd place. It's on the periodic table, it's a nuclear force strontium. It actually gives off radiation. The people who live in strontium are sometimes born, with 6 toes or webbed feet, of strange aberrations in their genetics. Is that something that your brain has done to you? How can you say that that is a problem of your subconscious? But then we have to ask the wider question. How did you get to strontium? Why are you still in strontium? Why didn't your parents move from strontium when they heard about aberrations that this nuclear force created in the genes? Why didn't your grandparents move? All of these sort of strange questions, perhaps just even those forces like being irradiated, which is sort of thing, well, it's not really my fault. Perhaps it is something to do with you. Perhaps you could have moved. Perhaps generations could have moved, but didn't. So is 100% of all problems caused by our subconscious? It's an interesting idea. It's not one that I have a great answer to. It's not one I particularly want you to think about today. But I'm just suggesting this idea that you can't say, oh, I worked for 45 years in that office and I hated everybody and it never went well and I was always stressed. And then say, I can't imagine how I got ill. It's not possible for you to not put the two and two together. You have to see that the things and choices that you've made in your life lead to the things that happen to you in your body. So we've talked about the brain, we've talked about the endocrine system, we've talked about the chemical messengers that pour through the body. If you have chosen to be in a stressful place because you can earn lots of money from this job, now you're working this stressful job, you're still under stress. You're still creating a chemical cascade of, who knows, cortisol, these kind of things pouring through your body, which affect your kidneys. The chemical messengers set off the flow of adrenaline in your body. And your body has 10 times as much adrenaline all day long as it would normally have in a month. And then something starts to go wrong in your body and you think, oh, I can't imagine what went wrong. Well, hello, we've made these choices. And sometimes you don't feel they are a choice. I didn't have any choice to become a doctor because my dad always wanted me to be. Yes, there it is. But you did have a choice. You could have said no, run away from home, whatever the choice was. So every moment is a choice. Every moment, things can be different. And in this moment, you can choose to heal old stories. We think for a moment of the yin and yang symbol. This beautiful circle, wu wei, emptiness. And then inside the circle, there's this beautiful S-shaped line. On one side, dark, the other side, light. But the line between the two is where everything happens. That is the moment of change. You have dark and you have light, but the S shape suggests they're constantly interplaying with each other, constantly changing. One becomes the other. As the circle rotates, dark becomes light, light becomes dark. We see the little dot white in the middle of black. We see the little dot of black in the middle of white, and that suggests that there's always a seed of change happening. So every moment we are making decisions, consciously or subconsciously, about what happens next. If you're making conscious decisions well, great, that's good news. If you're making conscious decisions badly, perhaps you have to look at that. You have to look at the tools you're using, the way you're thinking. However, 95% of what we do is not exposed to us. 95% of what we do is subconscious. And if we're making bad subconscious decisions, the question is why? What triggered that decision to take that job? What triggered the decision to move there? Underneath so many things we find fear. Under quite a lot of things we find anger. We find all the negative emotions, hatred, jealousy. We find sadness and sorrow, grief, guilt, shame. We find all of these triggers, worry, deep inside, influencing our lives. Why are you angry? Who made you angry? When did they make you angry? Why are you sad? What happened that made you sad? Why do you hate that person? These questions are the fundamental turning points of our lives. This is where an interaction between you and the world has gone, and I'm putting inverted commas here, gone wrong. So this is the biggest problem we have, is feeling that the world has done us wrong. That person shouldn't have said that. That person shouldn't have done that thing to me. Why am I a victim in this story? So these are the really crucial moments in our lives. We build up this ego from the very start of our lives. Our parents start to tell us stories about who we are, what society wants from us, what we should believe. Religion, schools, parenting, friends, family, lovers, relations, society, politics, church, doctors. Everybody gives us a slice of who we should be. But is it true? We just take on other people's ideas so readily without even examining them. Patterns that were given when we're 2, 3, 4 years old are just given to us by our parents, our society. We just say, okay, that's me then. From the earliest of age, you understand that you are a Catholic, you're a Muslim, you're a Hindu. Why? Just because your mum and dad said so. Just because their mum and dad said so. You never question that, perhaps until later life. You just say, okay, that's it, because you're a child. What have you been given that operates in your life? Maybe not in a positive way. So just think about those ideas. There's only one real problem with our lives, and that problem is feeling that the life that is flowing through us is not right. Only one problem in our lives, feeling the life that flows through us is not right. Well, everything is exactly as it should be. Everything is utterly perfect. But, this is a big but, your filter system looks at it and says, by the filters I've been given, this is not correct. It's not life that's wrong. It's your filters that are wrong. Who gave you those filters? Are they yours? Probably not. Although we do build up some filters for ourselves as well, things that we tell ourselves through our experience in life. Oh, I'm definitely this. I can definitely be bad at that and good at this, and this is who I am. We start to tell ourselves, so we build up a whole new range of filters as designed by ourselves. So we get given a huge set of filters to begin with, and then we build a whole new set for ourselves afterwards to make this confusion even deeper. When you look at a play, a stage, the actors, and sometimes colored lights shining down on them, and to get, there's a blue filter on some lights and a red filter on some lights and a green filter on some lights and a yellow filter on some lights. And imagine now we've put down the green filter, then the blue filter, then the red filter, then the yellow filter, then who knows. And so you can hardly see the light anymore. There's so many filters in front of the lens that we've put in. The light of you, your true self, is totally obscured by these filters. Life itself is utterly perfect. You are just not in right relation to life. You and your belief systems have created difficulties and problems that make it look like life is wrong. But life is never wrong. We just need to adjust our position, change the way we think about it. So what are you going to change today? Who are you going to change? Let's find a pivotal person in our past. Let's think of someone who we had issues with. They can be gone. It can be a grandparent, it can be a parent, it can be a lover, friend, relation. They don't have to be dead. It could be someone a work colleague who you've always had a problem with. Maybe it's someone who's very present in your life now. But let's think about this idea of hurt child first. Someone in your childhood who created problems. And maybe you don't see them as problems, but it can also just be someone in your childhood who created the most strict patterns for you. So the words Ho'oponopono are very simple. They can be quite challenging because the first line is, I'm sorry. So you think about that person, you say, I'm sorry. And very often people's first reaction is to say, why should I say I'm sorry? It's not my fault, it's their fault. But we understand in the universality of everything that we could not be affected by that person unless we were in relationship with that person in some way or another. It takes two to tango. And so we have an intimate relationship with someone. We're not damaged out of nothing. Sometimes, someone might run past and say something and you just think, oh, what was that? And let it go completely. And sometimes someone might say something and it goes right deep to your heart. So it's only people who we're in relationship with who can feel, can do, and again, I'm doing air quotes, damage to us, because only damage that can ever be done to you can only ever be allowed by you. You have to allow it to happen. We're always in relationship with someone. If a complete stranger comes up and shouts, your hair looks horrible, you just think to yourself, well, that's a mad person. I don't care about them. I don't know them. What do they know? And that's it. And that's the end of that story. If your mother says to you, your hair looks terrible, you're crushed. It's exactly the same thing. She might be a mad person too, but so there we are. So it's that kind of relationship is what really makes things hurt. Okay, so now we're thinking about who it might be that we have a difficult relationship with. We start with the phrase, I'm sorry. So think about that person. We're not saying, I'm sorry in a petulant teenager way. We're saying from the depth of our heart, I am so sorry. I am sorry. I, me, the things that make up who I am. I am so sorry. From the core of me, I am so sorry. So sorry for my part in this drama. I am so sorry. For the things that brought us to this place, for the things that were said and done. I am so sorry. Think about that person and with absolute honesty, feel this apology from the depth of your heart. I am so sorry. The second line of Ho'oponopono says, please forgive me. And sometimes your brain says, no, it should be the other way around. They should be asking for forgiveness. But again, if we accept the fact that it always takes two people to make something happen, and even if it's only 1% you and 99% them, something still needs to be forgiven. Please forgive me for my part in this drama. Please forgive me at the deepest, deepest level. Please forgive me for the triggers that I may have caused. Please forgive me for the energy in your life. So we think of this person. Perhaps you might even see yourself with your hands in the prayer position, your head bowed. Please forgive me. At the deepest level, from the depth of your heart, please forgive me. Please forgive me. With meaning, please forgive me. See yourself in front of that person. They may be long gone, but you can imagine their image. You connecting deeply and saying, please forgive me for my part in this drama. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Now we assume their forgiveness. Thank you. From the depths of my heart, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to release this weight, this heaviness. Thank you for letting me release this pain. Thank you for considering this subject. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you. Thank you from the depths of my heart. Thank you. And then finally, with that person in mind, I love you. Deep, unconditional love. The problems we've had in the past are gone. I love you. Whatever issues there were, I love you. All of that has gone and dissolved. I love you. When we realize that we are one, that the game had us play with this other person in a certain way. But the truth is that we are all one. I love you. You see past all of that person's filters that made them act in a certain way. I love you. All of the games, all of the problems that they had dissolve away. I love you penetrates everything, connects your heart to their heart. I love you. Okay. Now perhaps we can heal our own inner child. Think about yourself at a tender age. Might have been the day you were born. Might have been when you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick an image of yourself as a young child. And now, as an adult, you can see this young version of yourself. You can gently stretch out your hand and ask your young self to take your hand. A gesture of friendship. Perhaps you kneel down to make your adult size less threatening to your beautiful inner child. We can work with our inner child as well and apologize I'm so sorry. So sorry to your inner child for the things that it had to go through. So sorry for the situations. So sorry for the things that went on. Speak to your inner child from your heart. I am so sorry. Feel that heart connection between now and your young self. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the things you suffered. I'm so sorry for the things you went through. I'm so sorry for the confusion. Send that deep to your inner child. Please forgive me at the deepest level. Please forgive me. I beg of you, please forgive me. Please forgive me for all the difficulties, all the problems, all the hurt and all the pain, all the confusion. Please forgive me. See your inner child smile. Thank you. Thank you for your forgiveness. Thank you for allowing this to take place. Thank you for letting this healing take place. At the deepest level of my heart, I thank you. See your inner child smile. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And eventually, I love you. From the bottom of my heart, I love you. Releasing pain from the inner child. See the inner child smile and radiate with your love. Thank you. I love you. Deep inside, joy, happiness, this wonderful inner connection. Let's think now about someone who was difficult in our teenage years. I think teenage is an underrated time. I think we just kind of got through it. And so many people think about young children, but there were also extraordinarily stressful times in our teenage years when we're coming of age. Problematic uncles, teachers, problematic lovers, boyfriends, girlfriends, problematic friends. It's always somebody who creates some sort of issue in our lives. Who are you going to choose? Who is the person who made life difficult and uncomfortable for you? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, these kind of ages. People who made life difficult for you. Who do you choose to heal now? Think of a person. And then we work. We say, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry for my part in this story. I'm so sorry for the triggers that I caused just by being. I'm so sorry for the patterns that I brought. I'm so sorry. The things that made you angry as a teenager. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for my part. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for the times that my attitude upset you. Please forgive me for the things that I said. Please forgive me for the things that I've done. Please forgive me my lack of understanding. Please forgive me for my part in this story. Please forgive me. The deepest, deepest level, I ask you to forgive me. Please, please forgive. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Then we assume their forgiveness. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for helping me release these wounds. Thank you for letting me let go of these ideas and problems and times. Thank you for letting me let go of these patterns, for releasing me of my bond. Thank you for letting go. Thank you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you. Let go. Thank you for moving on. I love you. No matter what, I love you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I unconditionally love you. Feel that everything changes when you do this Ho'oponopono. Everything shifts. The old patterns dissolve. We release ourselves at the deepest level. And then let's just see your inner teenager. Imagine how you looked when you were 13, 14, 15. Pick an image of you. Just put your hand out to that teenage person, and hand in hand, you just say, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Looking into the eyes of this beautiful teenage you, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Really, from the depth of your heart, I am so sorry. Please, please, please forgive me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Every aspect of you. I love you. So we smile at our inner child, our inner teenager. They smile back. Waters are calmed. The storm is past. The people who created problems in our childhood, in our teenage lives, have been smoothed over. Your relationship has changed fundamentally. The problems that they cause have melted. And now there's new stories that can emerge, a new you that can emerge from the ashes. We let go of all of these ideas of the past. They no longer serve us. Those problems we had then are not affecting us now at this very moment. They used to hold weight and sway in our lives, but now we push them away. We let them go. The perpetrators have been forgiven, gone, dissolved. Allow new healthy patterns to rule your life, to run through you, rivulets of your true self pouring through your body. Feel the weight lifted from your shoulders. Feel that it's now possible for you to live your life in a different, healthy way, to live yourself much more in the present moment. Just accepting that everything is right, everything is good, everything is flowing well. We remove a huge swathe of these filters that are telling us that life is wrong, things are not working the way they should be. And we just align ourselves with the flow of the Tao, with the flow of life. This space between yang and between yin in our beautiful yin and yang symbol, that S-shaped river that flows between the two, that is the Tao. That is the Tao. That is change. Flow with the change today. Do not swim up the river. Be at one in the Tao, and just allow the change to come to you with balance and equanimity. Don't fight. Don't push against the tide. The river is surely flowing in the right direction. Just get with it. Go with the flow. When everything comes into right relation, when your life comes into right relation with the world, then everything is flowing well. Blood and chi flow well through your body, but life flows well through your life. Align yourself with the Tao. Allow yourself to flow in the river. Just enjoy the journey with a smile on your face. So that brings us towards the end of our healing session. I think wherever the hands have been, they can gently come back onto the belly for a moment. And we can just rest the hands there, gathering the chi inside, holding the energy. We can just bring our feet together into the Zheneng Qigong stance. Bring our hands into the prayer position in front of our hearts. And we can close out just by raising the hands up over the crown of the head. Stretch up into the blue sky. Let your spine open up. And then let the hands drift down over the crown of the head. Let the hands split apart. They come down like a rainbow arc to shoulder height. We gather and scoop chi and bring it round to the front of the body. And then we send chi deep inside. Imagine your brain filling with chi, apadantian, abundant with chi. Blood and chi flow well through your body. Drifting the elbows down, let the hands come underneath the arms, lightly touch da bao. Send chi into your middle dantian, supporting all of your organs. Blood and chi flowing well. All functions of middle dantian. Perfect working order. Drifting the hands back behind, back of the hands move forwards. When they're in line with the side of the body, we turn them over. We send a great wave of chi out into the universe. Don't forget to bring some back for yourself. Gather a little ball of chi in front of the belly. Traditionally, left hand for guys, right hand first for ladies. And then we take this beautiful ball of chi and we just draw it straight into lower dantian. Gather that deep inside. Hold the chi in lower dantian. Lower dantian chi is abundant. Blood and chi flow well through your body. Let's flow this chi up your spine into your brain. Illuminate your brain. Flow the chi up the spine to your neck, to your shoulders, and down your arms to your fingertips. Fill the whole of your spine, your ribs, your upper torso, middle and lower torso. all the way into your hips and your pelvis, tailbone, hip joints, down into your thighs, down into your knees, down into your calves, down into your feet, Achilles, ankles, all the way to the tips of your toes, soles of your feet, the whole back surface of your body. Feel that everything is lit with chi, blood and chi flowing well, all functions of your body returning to perfect working order. All functions of your body, perfect working order. Let's turn 3 circles round lower dantian. So we circle around lower dantian 3 times, gathering the chi, bringing it all into the center, holding it deep inside. We circle 3 times round in the opposite direction, and that just brings all the chi focusing back deep inside the belly and brings you to an end, brings you back into your physicality, brings you back into your body, brings you back into daily life. So we turn from our chi being back into our physical being for the time being, but we don't forget our chi essence. We don't forget that chi space. At any moment, you can just turn yourself back into a chi person. You can just bring yourself back to this healing moment. Don't forget it. Use it again and again. Bring yourself back into that chi state where the real healing is. Blood and chi flow well through your body. Just imagine your Wei Chi layer. It's a layer around your skin, a kind of protective field of energy. Keeps you safe. And then imagine your chi body. It's a meter above, below, left, right, front and back. It's a wonderful chi bubble. Protects you, but it also connects you to the outside world. Just see yourself as a being of light. Every cell in your body filled with chi. All functions of your body working well. You, safe, protected, happy, big smile on your face. Slowly open your eyes. Let's move the hands a little bit. Perhaps move the legs a little bit, roll the shoulders a bit, bring a little bit of movement back into the body. If you want to do some forward bends, just be very careful and do it slowly. We don't want you to rush up and get dizzy. So when you come up very, very slowly. Just make sure the body is moving well again. Everything is released and relaxed. We finish off by saying hao la. So hao la means good already in Chinese. Everything we've done, sorted, already fixed is the implication there. The first hao la can be for ourselves, second hao la for our friends and family, third hao la for everybody in the universe. So if you unmute yourselves, you're going to be on the video. So if you'd like to stay quiet, that's entirely up to you. And as I always say, I'll be sharing this video out afterwards. So lift the hands up in the air. 1, 2. Ha. 1, 2. Ha. Last time. 1, 2. Ha. Ah, very good. Well, thank you very much for being here today. I'm going to put this video up online. The other thing I was going to say is that some of you guys are not on my mailing list. We have a retreat coming up in France in September. So if you're interested in coming and doing more of this kind of work, please check out my website. Very good to see you all and see you soon. Thank you very much for being here. Bye. Bye.